This is Gabriel Ni Obudai Togbo Ashon coming your way with a special edition of Community Watch. I have stated special because the personality we have on the show today is a great person. He is the regional minister, Honorable Ishmael Ashitey. Welcome to Metro TV.
Thank you very much.
Let's start this discussion by looking at your tenure as Minister for Greater Accra. How has it been so far?
It's a mix. I can say it's mixed. There have been challenges. Like you said, there have been successes. We are trying to make sure that the successes outweigh the challenges.
I like the fact that you cited successes. It's been a year or a little over. What have we got to show?
Well, until this morning, when I'm hearing of some problems in Central Accra, for the past one and a half years that I've been in office, Accra has been relatively calm. We've been able to keep our cities very calm. We have been able to manage the situation of land guards to a certain level. We've been able to manage to a certain level flooding. I think recently it rained. We didn't see the normal floodings that we used to have. We pray that we continue to work steadily so that that will not happen until the rainy season is over. We have been carrying out from the RCC our mandate of monitoring and supervising activities at the various MMDAs, and I think we are doing extremely well. For that matter, we have chalked some successes. But
Successes that you are proud of, and are they enough?
yes, for now it is enough. We came to inherit something, and we started from there. We have to first make sure that we are on the level field before we start building up. And we have not solved all the problems, which I believe we may not be able to solve all within our tenure. Others will come and continue. But we've been able to manage issues to the extent that some of the problems that were persisting are things of the past.
There is tension in Accra Central, and Homowo is almost here with us, at least from Gamashi. What is your outfit doing about this?
Usually when it's Homowo time, then you will see numerous chiefs coming out from our traditional areas. I had information that there is a group at Osu who are planning to invade the shrine of the Osu people in the castle to prevent the chief priest from performing some of their sacrifices. And quickly I informed the regional commander to put security men in place to make sure that nothing untoward happened. I think their concentration was moved to that area, and I had a report that they've completed that task. Everything has been very successful. As soon as I was told that, then I had another call that there is fighting in Accra Central. I called the police commander, and unfortunately, they were all not aware that something like that is, because I think the concentration has been at Usu, yes. And therefore, I asked him to move quickly. And then later he called back to confirm that there is this problem. And according to what I'm hearing, it is about land issue that between the Kole people and then the Bese people. And that conflict has been there between the Kole Wulomo and then the Bese Manche. And I think That is what sparked the disturbances this morning. And then there were gunfires and all that. So I asked the police commander to move in very quickly to see to it that nothing untoward happened. He called me just now and said that they've been able to arrest 13 people. 2 people were shot. For now, we know that there have been disturbances at Accra Central with this homo. This means that our districts should rise to the occasion, because when we finish, my director checked from AMA and they were not aware that something like that is happening. If they have been proactive, maybe these gunfires and others wouldn't have taken place. We say we send condolences to the bereaved family. For now, the situation is very calm. The police have taken over and they've secured the whole area.
If we were to have, chiefs undisputed, some of these things wouldn't be happening. I know recently we had the Osumanche issuing some letters to the current president of the Ghana Traditional Council, directing who a Gamanche is. Has that letter reached your table, maybe copied?
Yes, I received that letter, but it is not for the Greater Accra House of Chiefs to determine who is the Gamanche. It is the Ga people, the Gamashi people, who will determine who their chief is. They know that. And then when they have that chief, they present the chief to the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs. So I spoke to the Osumanche that he has been in haste to come out with that announcement. That brought a lot of challenges even to this, my office, because some other people felt that the Osumanche is trying to determine who should be their leader. Meanwhile, whilst Osumanche is announcing that, the Ghana Traditional Council itself have got its president as Nidodu Insaki, which means the Traditional Council believes that there is no chief or paramount chief because Nidodu Insaki is not the Gamanche, but he is the president of the Ghana Traditional Council. That means the chiefs in the Ghana Traditional area believe they don't have Gamanche. That is why they have given Nidodu Insaki that position as the president. So they were slighted when they heard that the Osumanche coming from, so determining who should be their chief. And these brought a lot of challenges that we have to quickly go in to try to resolve. So that problem is there. We are trying to find solution to them. The guns, they are in court. They are at the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs itself with their case and other things. We are guiding them, making sure that they will go through the normal processes and the legal ones to be able to resolve this problem for all of us to know who the Gamanche is.
But Honorable, the question is for how long, and I want to stay a little bit more on this issue. The assertion is that high-profile personalities like you, and let's say key government officials who are even of Ga heritage or are Gas, are not doing enough to find a lasting solution to these Ga chieftaincy problems. Somewhat then distance themselves. Probably they could come together, those in parliament and all that. Together, it could even be from the political angle, just to bring heads together to find a lasting solution to this. That's one. The second bit, so you are not doing enough as a Ga and also someone in authority. That's one bit of it. And the Osumanche acting, apparently, per information we are picking up, by virtue of the action of the chieftaincy minister, and then by your action by earlier saying there wasn't any Gamanche. So the Osumanche wrote to the National House of Chiefs to know who the Gamanche is. So if one person's name is in the National Register as Register for Chiefs, so I think you should then accept the person as Gamanche because it's in the national records.
Yes, this is what we don't want to do. We don't want to meddle in chieftaincy issues because chieftaincy is not about gazette. Chieftaincy itself, they have processes and practices that somebody have to go through to become a chief. It is the recognition of government that is what comes out with gazetting. When the processes and the procedures have taken place and the people have accepted that particular individual as their manche, then the government will now also recognize the person by gazetting the person.
So if Ni Adamalache has been gazetted, meaning giving government recognition, then government has to work with Ni Adamalache as Gamanche.
Yes, that is how you see it. Then I come to you and ask the question. If Adamalache is the Ghana Traditional Council have accepted him as their manche, because as the Ghana manche, he should be the paramount chief of the Gans and represent the Gans at the Greater Accra House of Chiefs. If they have done so, then there wouldn't be need for the Traditional Council to come out with an acting president. Automatically, the Ghana manche is the president of the Ghana Traditional Council. And if the Ghana Traditional Council have got acting president, then it means the Ghana Traditional Council is not recognizing anybody as being the Ghana manche. And therefore, we have to tread cautiously. We don't want a situation where we will be accused of installing a because for gazetting we can also give gazette so easily, but you must make sure that the people themselves have agreed and are prepared to work with one particular individual because they believe that he is coming from the house that they need the manche. He has gone through the normal processes and procedures. He has been installed to be the manche. Then when you give gazette, you will not have any challenges from any angle because the people themselves have accepted that particular individual. This is not the case with the Ghana Traditional Council, where they have an acting president. And therefore, if we have the Sumanche also comes out to say that this is the Ghana manche because there is a gazette, we have to be a little bit careful in dealing with that issue. And I think the way we have handled this situation is how or why there is a little bit of calm in Accra in relation to the Ghana manche, because if you do it and you don't do it well, people will react. Now people are looking up to government. How is government dealing with the issues? If government is going to one side and they feel that they are being sidelined, then they will react. And therefore, we must tread cautiously, and that is exactly what we are doing.
Not that you are backing Takite true, with the assertion that he is the NPP type.
No, not necessarily. It's not NPP. That man contested as a running mate for an independent candidate. It's not an MPP. Okay. If he's an MPP, he would have come to contest maybe any position on our ticket, but he went to contest or this in team up with an independent candidate to contest, I think, the 2012 elections or so. Okay. So it's not our type. And we don't want to be seen as meddling in chieftaincy affairs. The chieftaincy institution have its own rules and regulations, and therefore you must allow the institution to work. We are allowing it to work, guiding them, making sure that people will not take the law into their hands when they are able to complete with that process. And the Ghana people themselves come out to say that this is our manche. We will recognize that person and work with him, with that person accordingly.
Okay. Honorable, I know it's a delicate issue, but beyond being the Greater Accra Regional Minister, you are a Ghana. I was earlier mentioning that you are a Ghana man, and you have other key Ghana people being part of government or even in the opposition. what are you doing together to find a lasting solution to the Ga problem? Because elsewhere, in other regions, people feel that their people, even in government or even politicians, they do try to project their culture, to project or find solution to their problems, but not in Accra.
Yes, don't use it as I'm speaking for. You have mentioned that because you want to know my position as a Ga.
Yes.
It's not because I am the minister. Therefore, it's let's take it that I'm speaking like a Ga, but not a minister.
And not an ordinary Ga.
I'm speaking like a Ga. I've been talking to them. I know that all of them went from Adan all the way to Lama. All those who call themselves chiefs know who the real chiefs are. They know. And I've been speaking to them. Why are they doing this to themselves? At the background, when I meet them as a Ga person, and then, it is about land. One, and underlying this thing that I've seen there is about land. People want to sell land to enrich themselves. So somebody will just go in, get a group of young men, langars, buy them some arms, other cutlasses, guns, and other things, form a landguard group, install himself as Manche, so that he will get the opportunity to sell part of the land. And this is what is happening. When they sell the land, those people who are always selling the land, when they sell the land, they come and give pittance to some of the others, divisional chiefs, and then they support them. So it is something. It's not about something that they don't know who the real occupants of the stools are. They know, but they are doing this because of greed. That is one thing I've seen. And I've been telling them in the face. I don't want to say it in at a forum or officially for people to pick it and say that, well. But when I meet them at the level, being a Ga and facing this problem where people are asking me questions like you are asking, what are you doing? And other times, sometimes we meet at RESEC. I'm a Ga sitting with non-Gans, and then we discuss Ga issues, sometimes so disturbing. When I live there with that pain in my heart, I get to some of them and then tell them that they should stop. They know. All of them, each one of them knows the Ga people. If you go to the Ga Traditional Council, they know who should be the Ga manager. But they are all quiet, sitting down, because somebody is giving somebody this, and that is the basis. So the young ones, I brought them here. They came from Gamashi, the Asafo Acheme and all that thing. And I told them that if the old men are not prepared to help to resolve this problem, their mothers and their grandmothers and their grandfathers might have told them. It is up to them to step in to try to resolve these problems, because they cannot sit down and allow people who are not qualified to be Mancheme, but because they have been able to get a group of boys to help them as langars, we come and then create a whole lot of problem for the Ga state. That cannot happen. And I think they are working very well. It's being led by one young Asafo Alain is the leader. It's called Mankata. He's doing very well, very, very well. And they are working. They are talking to people who matter, for them to tell them exactly how they should go about these things. And I'm sure, I'm very, very pretty sure that very soon this problem will be resolved.
Honorable, the Ga language is sinking, and it is now limited to some communities in Accra. You visit schools and then they don't teach Ga, and Ga children are learning other languages, even in their homeland. And just this week, before the basic education certificate examination started, a little Ga child, a girl called Claudie, put up on Facebook that she was going to write the exams with pain, knowing that she was going to write a different language other than her mother tongue. And my younger brother, who stays at Oyarifa is studying a different language right here in Accra. And it will be so sad to know that you are the one overseeing the region and this is happening on the land.
Yes. At a certain level, like the basic level where languages are compulsory, that you must do them. So to go through your training or examination to pass, to continue with your education, then it will be very bad for people to be forced to learn a language that they are not prepared to do so. The Ghana people themselves, with the problems that they are having, like the Ghana issue, it's another thing. We are there that we cannot even determine who our leader is. The whole Ghana state cannot say this is our leader. So people are doing what they want to do.
Oh, no, but that's why personalities like you are there. If the Mancheme are not coming together to find reason to promote the language, you are there representing the region.
Yes, we can start something, you understand, but it becomes political. And it's very dangerous when you don't think them. Let's assume there is somebody who have been placed at a certain level who have no interest in the language that we speak, or he cannot even speak the language, and therefore the interest is not there. And then I come out to say that this person should be removed, or this person shouldn't be there because he cannot. My argument is that because that person cannot speak Ghana, and that because of that he has no interest in the Ghana, and that is the main reason why our young ones are not studying Ghana. Politically, they pick this thing up, and there is a way to dress up political issue. They would dress this thing up, and maybe for 1 week I will not have my peace.
But no, there is a policy that in every region, at least the dominant or the indigenous language should be taught. So why not in Accra too?
Yes.
Because in other regions it is done across board.
Yes, because they have an organized system that everybody is really concerned about it. This is an issue where when even you want the Ghanaians to come and talk, you don't see who to come and talk.
It could be that you didn't search for the right people, the right Ghana people to come up and talk.
The right Ghana, that is where politics come in. I'm a political party person. Now, if I want to do something which have influence on government, or which will bring something out of government, there might be somebody sitting out there who is a CPP person, well knowledgeable, very good, who can do that thing better than the person that I'm bringing from the MPP. It will not speak very well of me. It will create a whole lot of problem. But if the Ghana people, in their own institution, from their own background, comes out because they will not look at politics. They will come. We are Ghanaians. We have a culture. We have our own values, and this is where we want to go. And therefore, it is Atakwe who is the right person to lead this agenda without looking whether it's MPP, it's NDC, or it's CPP. He comes and lead that process. We may be able to achieve something. Otherwise, people will read politics in whatever you do. If today I come out here to say that, look, nobody should, or we are not going to agree that other languages to be taught in schools in Accra, and it's only Ghana that we should do. You just see how...
Oh, no, I want to hear something like this from you. That's what the people are requesting you to do, that it could be. That you are not saying that they should stop teaching other languages in Accra. Yes. The Ghana people who are complaining that their language is sinking want the regional minister, Honorable Ishmael Ashitey, to say that the Ghana language should be made constant, so that the other languages could be optional. So when you move into the school, the basic thing there is Ghana, for the Ghana children to be able to learn the Ghana. So the other languages too are there for the others who can't learn or who wouldn't want to learn the Ghana to be able to learn their mother tongue. But it shouldn't be that you move through the schools and the other languages are being taught in Accra. And then there is no Ga teacher, there is no Ga being taught. So it's like the children are deprived. So the minister should be able to direct that in the home region, there should be Ga taught in all the schools for the Ga children to also have access.
Yeah, you are talking of, I can make a proposal that Ga should be taught in the district.
The policy is there, Honorable. Yes. It's a matter of implementing, having the policy implemented.
Yes. And you don't have, maybe you don't even have the teachers.
They are there. When they graduate, then they are rather sent to other regions, which is another problem your office.
It's not my office. It's the education of this thing. You see,
which is under your office.
No, it is the regional director who we work with here. She also takes instruction from her minister. It should be, if that is the situation, it should be a conscious effort that look, Ga should be the main language in the Greater Accra region. And I'm telling you, if you go and say so, you are going to have a very serious challenge coming from other people.
Why should it be so?
The problem that people, I've spoken to some of them, the accounts will tell you that the enormous in Greater Accra is bigger than the Ga people themselves. Whether it's true, for now.
But the land is in there. Yes. This is the homeland of the Ga people.
Yes. But they will say that, well, the people on the land who are going to be the beneficiaries of the language. Because, excuse me to say, the land will not learn any language. It is the people on the land who will learn. So they will tell you that the enormous are very big.
What's your personal take on this?
No,
and the fact is not to show other languages, but give the Ga people or the Dangbe people their fair share of the cake. Yeah. You can teach the other languages, but teach the Ga, the Dangbe languages too.
That is what it should be. That if you go to a school and they say we will not, or we are not teaching Ga, it's not fair. It's not good that you go to a place they say we are not teaching Ga. There must be a Ga teacher. What we are saying, that means there must be a Ga teacher in every Ga community school or where we have this. But you see, that is not the issue. You see that the transfer of teachers is done by the Ministry of Education. They don't look at the background of the teachers or the type of languages they do that. You see, the system actually in Accra is not working in our favor because so many things are going wrong. And apart from the political leadership that can come out and which people can easily attack whenever you do something, we need our indigenous institutions in Greater Accra to work. And that is why I'm seriously conscious fighting to make sure that the Ga people have genuine Ga leaders like Mancheme, Wulome. This must be genuine. Somebody, when he comes up, everybody will respect and believe that this is the right person, that nobody will point hands that he shouldn't be the chief. Because when people start thinking that you should not be the chief, the way they will address you, the way they talk to you, other people will not give you that respect again. So we must start from somewhere. And I have spoken to them that, look, we need to get people in authority. We must think of teachers who will take these positions to teach the language. Then we must think of educationists, people who are at the top level, who will be coming out with educational policies to be also looking at it in that direction. There is one young man who have come. He's doing very well. People are complaining to me that it's autocratic. I've not noticed that one yet. That is the Nungwa Ulomo. Yes, he's trying to do very well to bring the Gans together for us to realize that, well, we have some values that we must protect. And if he's able to do that and do it very well, I am very, very sure that things will change in Greater Accra. If the chiefs and people start talking that we want our language to be spoken, nobody can resist them. But when a politician do so, it becomes another problem. And therefore, I'm fighting now to make sure that the chieftaincy institution or the leadership role that we need for the Ghana people is established. When that is established, then we can move from there. Okay. And I'm very confident that if everything works very well, it will not be very long for us to have a Gamanche. And I want a Gamanche who will understand that his people are not been, the people, the Ghana people have not been able to establish the values that their grandfathers and grandmothers left for them very well, and that he will come and start changing it, making sure that we come out and follow all the laid down rules that we have. If there is a chief who has to be attention, he knows where the chief have to come from, and you will not be afraid to tell the people that, look, that Manche is not, have to come from this house. He can go to Usu and tell them that the Usu Manche should come from this house. He can go to La and tell them that the La Manche should come here. He can go to Tema and say the Tema Manche should come from here. He will not be afraid to do so. Then we set out things properly, and I think the Ghana state will rise again. Okay. Today is not the best. Okay.
Honorable, before we end, I don't want this to be like an ordinary conversation, especially with the Ghana language teaching, but when we finish this interview, then it ends there. What will be your commitment to work somewhat to ensure that this language sinking, the Ghana language sinking is resolved?
I am seriously committed, and this is why I was talking to you about that Nungwa Ulomo, the Nungwa, that he have started something.
Personally, what are you going to do?
No, we, like I said, at the background, we will always advise them.
In your capacity as the regional minister?
In my capacity, I will be very happy when Ghana is taught here, in Accra. All Ghana areas, Ghana communities, we teach Ghana there. But like I said, it's a long process, very long, because we have to look at the education ministry, the type of trainings that we get for our teachers. Like you said, some of them are there, but they've been taken to other places. Mm-hmm. What is the system that is taking them away? What do we do about all those things?
Would you take this challenge to make your office look into it?
Yes, we will. We will, you see, but some of the narratives have to be done by the Ghana leadership. We can do our part. You understand? We can do our part. I sit here, so many things come to me. But the fact of the matter is that there are some things that I cannot be seen to be leading in its implementation. Somebody else should do some of those things. If we have to, I can quietly advise my colleagues or advise the president that, look, let's look at the policy where teachers are taken away from, Ghana teachers are taken away, sent to maybe Northern region teachers are taken, so it becomes very difficult for our children to learn our languages. Let's look at that. Government will start looking at it. Nobody will hear of that, because I can't come out and start as if I am shouting of things against my own government. This one we have to, Ghana people say, are you on me? Mm-hmm. We'll go behind closed doors and speak about those ones. But, you know, if we have very intelligent Ghana leaders, they will take this thing up. Because they will pick the signal that their children are speaking maybe Akan when they come home. Why is that happening? And they will start the revolution from that level and then come up. So we must all work to make sure that this leadership system in Greater Accra or Ghana works. Let's look at it, and we can start this from Ghana localities, Ghana area, Gamashin, La, Usu, Teshin, Okay, we can handle it from there.
Okay.
Despite the fact that there are other people with us, yes, the place has become cosmopolitan. We don't allow that to take our values away from us.
Okay. Honorable, to end, what are some of the things we should expect from your outfit in terms of development?
We are working very hard with the assemblies, monitoring the activities, supervising them very well to do what is right. Especially my problem is with sanitation. And those of them, some of them are doing extremely well. Like Ghana Central, they are doing very, very well. AME, they have a peculiar problem, and therefore I don't envy that young man, because the number of people who move from other regions, other districts, and then come to Central Accra, come and generate faith and then go away every day is enormous. And for you to handle that, then it means you are doing extremely well. So I can say he's doing extremely well. The rest who are on the periphery, that is other districts around, they should start working and working very hard to make sure that their localities are very clean. I was at La and I see the lady there doing extremely well. Yes, she is keeping to all that she has been telling me and making sure that La becomes clean. Sometimes
we're also talking about the absence of landfill sites.
Yes.
During the regional coordinating council meeting,
Yes.
which is a major challenge for them,
Yes.
and not helping with the sanitation. You are talking about ensuring proper sanitation.
Landfill site is outmoded. You see, that is why I was talking to them the way I did that day. We have seen other technologies that can be used to manage field or waste. Waste has become money, and the assemblies can make a lot of money from the waste. And I have exposed them to so many. I went with some of them to China to see some of the things for themselves. We recently went to South Africa also to see, because if you say China is outside and therefore maybe South Africa is in Africa, we went there for them also to see what is happening at that place. So they have seen all these things. My problem with them is taking the initiative. You know, that is the little problem I have with them. Coming out and taking initiative and making sure that we'll go this way. When you go to one city, maybe South Africa, it's very big, so they can handle it. So if Lahadadekotopon feels that the district is very small, and therefore they will have to team up with Teshi, they can come together and get an investor to build a small plant that can manage their waste for them. And that person who is going to build the plant will make some money from that one. It's businessmen, when they see they will make money, they will always come. And then so for them to venture out and do things, take very bold decisions, that is the problem I've got with some of them. But some of them are also doing extremely well. And those places, when you go, you will see that the place is neater, or the place is becoming very neat. Like at Denta, you don't see too much filth. They are having problems of some heaps. I talk to them, they will just go and get rid of it. But you go to Medina, where the market is, that is what they are telling me, where the market is and where the main road is. That is why they are having those challenges. But the Medina market is so dirty that we need to do something. So we have been encouraging them to do so. We hope that Nana Akufo-Addo's vision of getting Accra clean, we should be able to achieve that. And if we take the necessary step, but I don't believe that landfill site should be the solution of the problem.
Any key issue you wish to touch on that I haven't asked you? Other than that, we end here.
I think you have done very well asking me so many questions this morning, and Like I said, you are also a guy. Let's team up. Let's come together. Get our young men, um, talk to them, and let's get ourselves involved in shifting the mentality of our people. That we need leadership. One person can make a lot of difference. We need the leadership that can move us into the next generation. Other areas are doing very well. I don't know whether you have been to Sunyani of late. It's the neatest city we have in in the whole country. I got to Kumasi. It's far better than Accra. So when I come, I always call the chief executives and tell them that, look, go to this place, see what is happening, and let's try to locate here. So let's join hands, pressmen, young men like you, and then we talk to our people. And
Homowo is almost here with us.
Yes, Homowo is here. And like I said, when the time gets closer, you see the chiefs and people, you get 10 chiefs, like if you go to Bese, Bese who are fighting today, you see so many chiefs. As soon as the Homowo is over, you will not hear of them again. And then after the Homowo, they will be there. Later, when it's about 1 month to Homowo, they all pop up. About 10 of them coming to. We must do something about our chieftaincy problem. Okay. It is what is destroying the whole Ghana state. All the way from Lama to Ada. I think some few, I think I can just mention them. Ada, boom. Ada, boom. La. Then, problems everywhere. Why? We must do something about this. If we are able to tackle that one, all the things we are talking of will start falling in place.
Are you going to celebrate it? Are you going to your hometown? Where do you come from?
Yes, I'm listen. How do I call myself? I am from so many places.
I see.
Yes, you know, my father's mother came from Bo.
Okay.
And his father came from Tema.
Oh.
And my mother's father came from Osu.
Okay.
And her mother came from Tema. So, you know, I came from Osu, Bo, and Tema.
I see.
Yeah. So I'm a complex.
So it means you'll be going to each of these towns to mark the Homowo. You would have a lot of people.
I was born and bred in Tema.
Oh,
so I don't go to my Osu. Yes. Recently I was here, then a young man came to me, and he's having the name of my uncle, the same name. Okay. And I actually say, somebody, my grandfather told me that you are related to me.
I see.
And so I don't go to those places, Osu and Kpong. Okay. I don't go. I'm always at Tema. But I know my mother's father's house in Osu. Okay. I know my father's mother's house at Kpong. Yes. So I know those places, but I don't spend any time there.
Please find time and visit the homes this Homowo period. But we wish to thank you so much for, giving us this time, even within your busy schedule. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. So you've heard from the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Honorable Ishmael Ashitey, digesting things that he's been doing and a number of things he really wishes to see happen within the Ghana state and by extension within the Greater Accra region. Today wouldn't be our last time interacting with him. In due time, we shall come back and then look at the follow-ups with some of the things that we've mentioned in this interaction. You've just watched a special edition of Community Watch.